everyone. Today we're going to be continuing our unit on statistics, and we're going to be talking about dot plots today. Let's go ahead and get started. So something we're going to think about, and we're going to be able to solve it by the end of this lesson, is this situation. A principal is deciding how many computers to order for a new lab. Each classroom has submitted a vote. Show the data in a better way to help the principal make a decision. Tell why your way is better and more effective. So we're going to be looking at lists of numbers, and we're going to find very effective ways or simpler ways to show data. Okay? So this is what I'm just going to think about before we get started. Alright, so here is our example. Dot plots are useful for seeing clusters, and no, you don't have to copy this down, so calm down. Dot plots are useful for seeing clusters and gaps into the data set. They are also useful for seeing values that stray from the general shape of the data. And guys, they're useful to see what amounts are the most popular. So in this situation, we've been given an example of cat ages at a local shelter. Okay? The numbers on the bottom represent the number of years the cat has been living. Okay? So in this shelter, there is only one little cat that is 1 year old. If you look over here at 7, cats that are 7 years old, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cats that are 7. None of the cats in the local shelter are 9, 10, or 11 years old. There's one little old cat, poor bless her heart. There's one little 12-year-old cat just hanging out over there in the shelter, probably sleeping all day. Okay? So this is something that you would see in real life. And guys, it's important to know how to store data because you see this stuff all the time. Sometimes you're going to see like a survey where they say that, oh yeah, 99% of 14-year-olds prefer SpaghettiOs over ramen noodles. Something like that. They have to take data and put it into some sort of plot and store it accurately so that they're giving accurate information. Okay, so as you can see, a large number of cats in the shelter are 2 years old, 3 years old, 6 and 7 years old. I want you to copy this part in your notebook. So this is going to be our first notes of the day. A dot plot shows the shape of a data set by representing each data point as a dot over its corresponding value on a number line. That seems kind of complicated. So here's a visual to go along with the definition. My friend's siblings. So you went out to your friends in school and you asked them, hey, how many siblings do you have? And you got a data set. Now some kids have the same amount of siblings as other kids. So you had some numbers that repeated. So like over here, all right, Jim Bob's got like 2 siblings, and so does Sarah, and so does Billy and Arnold. Okay? So you're going to have some numbers that repeat themselves, and that's okay. But it's easier to gather data if you create some sort of graph or some sort of chart to store it equally. So the first thing you do is you figure out, okay, what is my data ranging from? Where do I start? And where does my number stop? One person one of your friends, said they have 6 siblings. I'm like, oh, 6 siblings. That's a lot of siblings. Okay? So one kid said, no, I don't have any siblings. So they're at the beginning of your chart. And one kid said it had 6 siblings. So you know where you're ranging from. You're ranging from 0 to 6. None of your friends had 5 siblings in this problem. Alright? So that stays blank. But you had 1, 2, 3 different kids that had only 1 sibling. 4 kids had 2 siblings, and so on and so forth. The most important thing for dot plots, guys, is knowing how to read them. Notice that the bottom numbers are usually always labeled, because right here it says the number of siblings. Somebody has 0 siblings, 1, 2, so on and so forth. Alright, when you finish copying all of this, including the dot plot, into your notebook, push play, and then finish up the rest of the video. let's work this one out together, and then there's going to be another one that you're going to do by yourself. Your friends hold a basketball shooting contest. The person who makes the most baskets in 1 minute, excuse me, I can't read right now. The kid that makes the most baskets in 1 minute wins. Use the dot plot to answer the questions. Okay, so what are we doing? We are using this dot plot over here to answer these 3 questions. So, right here it's telling us about the basketball shooting contest. And as you can see, underneath your line, you have a label. The number of baskets made range from 3 to 10. So it looks like none of your friends missed all the baskets. Which honestly means, I don't know what it means. It means something. Alright, so A. How many people made 8 baskets? Again, read it more than one time to make sure you read it right. How many kids made 8 baskets? Well, if you go here and find the 8th basket, you can see that 2 kids made it. Yay! That's a lot of baskets. Good job, those 2 kids. B. How many baskets did the most people make? That means that was not how many baskets did one kid make the most. It's asking how many baskets did most people make. If you go back over here and you're looking at the number of kids who made the baskets, most kids made 5 baskets. Because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 kids. And you have a lot of friends that you play basketball with. C. What is the least number of baskets that a person made? So you go back over here. And the least amount of baskets that somebody made was 3. Now look, what is the least number of baskets? It's not asking what's the least number of people. The least number of baskets. So you're going to have to read these questions very carefully, otherwise you're going to confuse yourself. Alright? So again, the numbers represent the number of baskets, and the dots represent the people in that situation. How many people made 6 baskets? So we're going to keep going. Hopefully you can see that 4 kids made 6 baskets. How many baskets did the winner make? And there was 1 kid who won. 1 kid made all 10 baskets. Good job. Okay? So, we're going to do this one. I want you to look at this next one and see if you can figure it out by yourself. The data shows the ages of dancers on a dance team. Make a dot plot from the data to find out which age is the most common on the team. So, the first thing you need to do is figure out what these ages are ranging from and create your number line. Then, the amount of answers that you got are going to be your dots. Go ahead and get started. If you get stuck, push play and figure out what the solution is. Alright, as you can see on this problem, your numbers are ranging from 10 to 14. 10 being your least, 14 being your greatest. Alright. How many dancers are 10 years old? Just 1. How many dancers are 11? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why is that buzzing so bad? 5. So you have 5 dancers that are 11 years old. Alright, about 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11, 12-year-olds. Alright, 13. There's 2. and 14. There is 1. So there are no holes in this data, but you can see it goes from 1 to 5 to 11 to 2 to 1. And in case you don't believe me, here's your answer. So most of the kids in this dance team are about 12 years old. Alright, so work this one out. They already gave you your number line. So at this point, all you're doing is putting down the amount of times each number was repeated. Somebody asked, how many books were read this summer? Alright, some kids didn't read any books. Some kids read a lot of books. So see if you can figure it out by yourself, and then I'll reveal the answer to you. Alright, so here is your answer. Ta-da! As you can see, 3 kids didn't read anything. Okay, they lost some brain cells over the summer break because they just didn't use their brain very much, so they didn't do it. Now, 3 kids read 1 book. It's a little bit better. Okay, a lot of kids read 2 books. Good job. That's about where I would expect you to at least be. And then 3 kids read 3, 4, and 5 books. 1 kid's a little overachiever over here. They read 8 books. Okay, good job. Probably should go outside some because it's summertime, but again, good job. Okay, let's keep going. Copy these notes in your notebooks. We have a few notes to take before we close it out, and then you can get on to digits. Distribution is the way that the data is spread out over all possible values. You can use words like cluster and gap to describe the distribution. Clusters are where the most of the data are stacked. So as you can see, between 1 and 4 is a cluster, and between 5 and 8 is a cluster. It's where like a lot of dots are. Okay? So copy this down and then push play when you got it. Alright, here's the next part. Gaps. Gaps are areas where there are significant small numbers of data. So right here is a gap where we have 1s, and then here's a gap between 9 and 12. Well, yeah, 9 and 10, 11 are a huge gap because, they have nobody over there. Okay, nobody's that. And none of the cats that age. And the last thing is the values that are astray. Dots that are located far away from the main set of data is our old grandpa cat that's 12 years old and is sleeping all day at the animal shelter. Somebody needs to adopt the old grandpa. Okay? Alright, so here's the problem that we were facing at the beginning of the lesson. The principal was figuring out how many computers he needs to get for their new computer lab. So what we've got to do is figure out what our data is ranging from, and then you have to create your dot plot. When you are finished, check with the teacher to see if you got the correct answer, and if you did, I want you to go ahead and get on to digits. I hope you have a wonderful day, and good luck on your assignments.